Today, let's begin with round 20. The title of today's lecture is The Various Supernatural Phenomena. The telepathy is the mind wave, and as the bioenergy flows in the space of the universe, the telepathy of the human being can reach all the places of the universe immediately. The levitation is the phenomenon in which the body of a person goes up in the air, and the dialect is the phenomenon in which a person can speak some dialect when the energy comes into the body. The fortune-telling is the phenomenon in which an obsessing spirit speaks through the medium, and a spiritually high person can say a prophecy, that is, predict the future. Let's continue the lecture of the past week. Lecture of the last week. First, let's see about the telepathy. Telepathy is the wave of mind, namely, it is the flowing of thought as the power of mind. The thought wave of human beings spreads into the cosmos space just like the electronic wave. In this case, there exists the flowing of the bioenergy called ki, which is the original element of all living creatures of the universe. This flowing ki or bioenergy is connected with our thought wave. This mind wave called telepathy makes it possible for the people living on the earth to have the communication with one another. Furthermore, some special residents on the earth can communicate with the ones living in the fourth or fifth dimensional world. One important thing we have to bear in mind is that the telepathy ability has lots of levels in accordance with the level of each person's spirit. It seems that the common people on the earth can communicate with one another, but some more mind-disciplined persons can talk with the people living in the third dimensional world in our galaxy or universe, and it seems that some saint-leveled spirit discipliners like Buddha or Jesus Christ can talk naturally with the residents of the fourth dimensional heaven or hell, and sometimes with the residents of the fifth or those of the higher than fifth dimensional world. I think that what Jesus Christ did in having a dead person live again was possible with his alarming capability of going in and out of the afterworld with his will. And in this case, he called the spirit living in the afterworld to insert him into the corpse. What Buddha did in teaching the residents of the heaven was possible thanks to the same ability as Jesus Christ. I heard that in Russia and America, they've done a lot of telepathy experiments, and in Mr. Hong Tae-soo's experiment, one of his disciples knew a telephone caller before I talked with him. And the next title is Buoyance of Body, or Levitation of Body. It is a phenomenon that a person's body flows in the air. As this phenomenon cannot be explained with the normal physical theory, it belongs to the fourth dimensional area. It is said that a Dan discipliner can make his body float up in the air after inhaling and exhaling air for some time, with his mind concentrating on a certain point. The time of floating is usually 3 to 7 minutes. And the next theme is dialect. In a church, sometimes a person utters a very strange word such as 우사사사사 or 우라이 두보 가그보이 아숫 사짜아이 두구부오, etc. And it makes the persons around him or her surprised. This sort of phenomenon is called dialect. It is a special phenomenon that happens when the bioenergy of ghee comes into the body. When a person concentrates on a thing and utters the same words repeatedly, the bioenergy of the cosmos called ghee comes into him through the crown chakra, 백회, and his body can be twisted after 30 or 60 minutes, and at last he feels that somewhat hot energy flows through his body, and he says some strange words, that is dialect, strange words, akuku, au, etc. He can even experience a strange phenomenon that his body soars up into the air suddenly. Roughly, there are two kinds of dialect. One is the dialect with some significant meaning, and the other has no meaning. The meaningful dialect appears in the Bible. After the crucifixion, Jesus Christ's apostles got together in an attic, and they prayed with all their heart. All of them received the Holy Spirit, and the people from all regions of the world were very surprised at the apostles saying dialects. They said, "Are not all these people who are speaking Galileans?" They said. It seems that each of the apostles said different dialects of foreign languages. This sort of dialect is a meaningful dialect, and it is a good dialect with an object. However, a meaningless dialect is a simple, useless one. Considering these facts, we know that speaking dialect in a certain religious meeting is not surprising or noteworthy. When they try hard to connect the truth-seeking, genuine way with themselves, they may be able to speak a dialogue with the Holy Spirit and with a good purpose. And next, fortune telling. We have heard about the fortune teller, and there are lots of people who have the experience of meeting a fortune teller, 점쟁이 in Korean, fortune teller. It is said that many CEOs, Chief Executive Officer, CEO, many CEOs go to fortune tellers at the beginning of a new project or a new business in order to know the prospect of it. And many candidates of some election meet fortune tellers to know whether they will be elected or not before some vote. They say that those obsessing spirits are usually the fortune teller's ancestors, and sometimes general various spirits go into the fortune teller's body too, like a mountain spirit, for example. Fortune telling is this sort of obsessing spirit's activity of mentioning the past or the future of occurrence of a client. An obsessing spirit can see the past or the future, for its body is composed of the fourth dimensional astral element. In this case, the character of the obsessing spirit is important, for when the spirit is not a good one, it can paint some dark and black color on the upcoming road of the client. This is the very reason why we had better evade superstition. For example, if the fortune teller says, "You will surely succeed in the business which you are now planning to manage," then the client can think that the business will have a wonderful result this time too, because he has already had an experience of success, the prospect of which this fortune teller predicted quite positively before. As a result, if the business pursuer does not do its best in managing the business in detail, paying little attention to the personnel or money management, being sure of the success of this time too, then probably then probably he will fail in the business. When the business does not bring success to him, probably he does not think over his demerit deeply, but he may speak ill of the fortune teller in this case. However, as all of us know well, the true meaning of what the fortune teller says is that the business manager has to do his best. Therefore, it is important to think of all the things in the right way, depending on the truth. Next, a port, not airport, but a port. It is a very mystical phenomenon in which a plant or an animal disappears suddenly and they appear in a different place. In this case, those things pass through an obstacle like a wall or window. For example, Jesus Christ made a large amount of bread and fish with only 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish. This phenomenon can be thought to be a port, and from a different angle, we can think that he made those fish and bread with mind power. Next, prophecy. Since the old times, the level of spirit of many prophets was so high that they could communicate with the world of the fourth or fifth dimension. As these higher worlds have no limit of time and space, the spirits living in those worlds can know the future occurrences very distinctly. Furthermore, what I have learned recently is that the excellent prophets known to people well in the past times could predict the future not by their own ability, but by the scientific technology of the aliens living in other planets, in which science advanced unimaginably. The aliens made the prophets watch the Back to the Future virtual simulation. The aliens used the ultra-capacity supercomputer and other scientific apparatus. Then they sent the message to a prophet by telepathy, or they brought their UFO in front of the prophet and made the UFO invisible. Under these circumstances, they showed the prophet just holographic or holographic images. The famous prophets who predicted the catastrophic situation of the doomsday along with salvation are 남사고, 노스트라다무스, 강경산, Jesus Christ, Buddha, Edgar Cayce, etc. Next, spiritual research group. In the advanced countries like America or England, they have studied the spiritual phenomena continuously since the beginning of the 20th century, and these researchers and spiritual mediums got together to form spiritual research groups. And they studied and experimented a lot of spiritual phenomena which are transcendental, scientific, and mystical. It is said that in the intelligence or information boards in America or Russia, they have researched the way how to adapt the supernatural ability like mind reading or clairvoyance to the information collecting activity. And this fact is said to be known secret. The scientific research attitude in studying the spiritual phenomena is the basis in pursuing the rational religious truth independent of superstition and blind belief.